morning, Super Kicking It with Stephen and Greg fans, your favorite two hosts right here. The Greg one over there, Stephen A, 1181 right here. What a week in wrestling. We had the Raw debut. We have new champions in NXT. We had a returning champion in Kenny Omega for AEW Dynamite. And I'll get into, I was almost scared he was going to give us a retirement speech with the way he was going. But Greg, the big story, we are 3 weeks away from the official coming together of Super Kicking with Steven and Greg. So what a 3 weeks we got. So, but you're ready. We'll start in the present. That's in the future. You are ready today. We were talking just when we went on air. Got your Chargers jersey ready to go. Got the Texans in your crosshairs. I love Thunder Rosa, so I almost had to root for the Texans, Greg, but you are my tag team partner on this show. So I guess go Chargers, go Bolts today.
Thank you. It's game day. Couldn't be more hype. First playoff game in since 22. So it's been a long time coming. But hey, shout out to the Spanoses for doing the right thing and bringing in a coach who knows what he's doing. And boom, you get instant results. You go and get Jim Harbaugh, and he brings his whole crew from Michigan that just won a national championship last year and go, let's go do the same thing out in LA. And everybody's like, okay, let's get it. And we flipped the record almost exactly from 5-12 last season to 11-6 this season. Huge flip.
Yeah.
So super hype. We got the matchup we wanted with going into NRG Stadium to play the Texans, and a weird bit of symmetry there. A year ago, just about today, Jim Harbaugh and Michigan won the national championship in NRG Stadium,
Wow.
and now he's coming back to NRG Stadium for the playoffs. Come on now, the stars can't be aligning better than they are right now. So it's time for 10 to show the world that he is that dude. All the haters need to back off and watch this genius work, man. It's so hype. It's going to be an awesome game, and 10 is going to get this win.
Yeah, I mean, that would be quite a bit of trivia to win a national championship and the year after win a Super Bowl title as a coach. I don't know. My producer's not in my ear right now. He might need to do some weird fact checking on that one because I can't even think of, I'm sure there's a coach or two or three that won a national title years later, a year or two later, but I wonder back to back almost. So we also have Notre Dame and Ohio State going at it. Is that a week from Monday? I believe it is. I think there's like a week between the games. Yeah. So here in Indianapolis, we had some snow, Greg. So our week was a little bit off kilter this week. So Monday, we were out of school. We were home to do virtual learning. Tuesday was a 2-hour delay to come in 2 hours later. That wasn't as bad, but also if we would have been, we joked like we didn't have our computers. The kids didn't. So if they would have had them, we probably would have been out Tuesday as well. But Wednesday is our early release, so we let teachers out 20 minutes early. Kids go there. Yesterday, we dismissed 20-some minutes early because there was more snow coming. So we had one full day of school this week. Yeah, it was quite the week. But my Pacers are heating it up, Greg. 5 in a row in January, 5-0. Have only trailed for 10 or so minutes this month so far. So finally, we're getting on the train. So Halliburton is showing up. Siakam has been so good. Miles Turner just puts up double-doubles like nothing. Mathurin has really shown into a third-year player. I mean, there's a lot of good finally, Greg. I think Halliburton really was – I think there was just so much rust from the Olympics from last year. I mean, honestly, I think it was a mental toll as well. So it looks like they're just having fun again, which, with any team, if you can tell body language, Greg, where teams are at in any sport, in any job, anything. So they really look like they have that that joy back. So let's keep it rolling. I forgot. I think we have somebody tomorrow, but I can't remember. I'll have to look at their schedule. But we did get tickets for WWE night, which will be at the end of the month. So that's Wednesday, the 29th-ish. So that will be a busy week for us, Greg, because
Yeah.
Pacer game and Sam Roberts is going to be at a comedy club that Thursday. Then there's SmackDown on Friday. Then there's Rumble on Saturday. So yeah, and plenty of other in between stuff that we could pull off. So, but let's get into some news and notes. We didn't get to talk about this, Greg, but there you go. The shot of 2 weeks ago. It finally happened. It is now Tiffy time.
Yeah.
It it took a little bit, Greg, but it happened. So she ends up coming out to help Nia win, only to take her out after the KOD. What an impressive looking KOD, by the way, of Bianca Belair. And Tiffany cashes in. The crowd pops for it, and she's off and running. She already had contenders coming after her last night, Greg. And Bayley's going to get the first shot, but I'm guessing Nia and Tiffany at Royal Rumble. Is that where we think it'll probably happen?
Yeah, I think so. She got to finish paying off the whole story arc by actually beating Nia in a legit match.
Yeah.
And you know, you're the king once you beat the king. So she cashed in and got the title that way, but let's see her do it, 1-on-1 and really cement her spot.
Yeah.
And not that beating Bayley won't help tell that story too, but we want to see the Nia and Tiffany angle pay off fully. So we got to do that. And I'm excited for it. Finally Tiffy time. It took too long in our opinions, but
pop was still there though.
Right. I'm happy that she still got that huge pop when she did cash in. And now we're off and running with Tiffany. I can't wait to see how her run goes.
And her and Charlotte at Mania, Greg?
I love it. I think that fits, especially if you're bringing Charlotte back as evil Queen Charlotte. And that even makes her look better by beating, the top woman, period. So in Charlotte, she's it. She's top of the mountain. So you beat her, you cash your ticket.
Do we seem like we're going to shift Tiffany in the face? I feel like if she's going to go in Charlotte, she'll get the cheers.
Right.
Or do we think we maybe play that tweener role that I think, there is a lot of gray area with characters, but the crowd seems to be behind her. Obviously, they can somehow get her behind the prettiest moonsault. I almost wonder if they might shift a little face roll just to kind of see how she can handle that side. Because, like we said, the best characters, Greg, can kind of shift back and forth when they need to. So maybe going into Mania, I wonder if there might be more of a crowd loving for her.
Yeah, it depends on the opponent, and I like Tiffany better as a heel. She's looks like she just enjoys it more, and she's more comfortable in that role. But she can do the same thing and be a face. People are loving it. Tiffy time is way over, so it can be over as a face or a heel. She doesn't have to do much different. The tactics could change if she's more of a heel, but aside from that, you don't have to do much of a makeover to get her over on either side. So I think until through this Mania run, especially if it's against Charlotte, and Charlotte comes back cutting those evil heel promos like she's so good at, then it's going to be easy to have her as the babyface in this situation.
Yeah, I feel like we're saving Charlotte for Rumble because I almost thought last night, they did have the long shot of Tiffany on the going up the ramp. I'm like, here comes Charlotte, but so I'm guessing they're saving Charlotte for the Rumble, which is fine. I think I still think you need those. Obviously, there's always the big pops. Another name, Greg. What about Nikki Bella? She showed up on Raw. She was right there, 2 seats away from Tiffany. I think that would be a nice little feud to throw as well if Nikki Bella's ready to come back, which it does look like, Greg. So, any kind of thoughts on that one?
I don't know. I thought that Nikki Bella was just there for appearances. They rolled in like all the all
Hmm.
the tons of people who weren't really involved with the active roster.
Hmm.
Um, and among all the celebrities and things, and the Bellas are more for me like the celebrity side than the wrestler side now because they're doing
Yeah.
reality TV and all the things, doing podcasts and all this stuff. I wasn't thinking of Nikki Bella as returning. It would be cool if she did.
Hmm.
I'm sure her reality fan base would come over with her,
Hmm.
and maybe that would add some extra to it. Kind of like what the Paul brothers are doing.
Hmm.
So maybe it brings some more eyeballs. But
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of her as returning to the ring. But I'd be here to see it. Blast from the past, and if she can still go, let's get it.
And I always go with if your kid is now of that age where they understand more about what's going on. I think it'd be nice if she could show out for her son,
Yeah,
just like Bree maybe doing some stuff. But um, I think that's Nikki's first kind of public appearance since the divorce and all the um, allegations with her ex husband now. So because
right.
I feel like we haven't really seen much of her. I don't know if she was at any red carpets recently, Greg, but it did seem like she's kind of got away from the public eye for a minute. I just, and I think it'd be a nice. I hate almost like a new focus for her to kind of re-gear and maybe a distraction in a way. So,
Sure.
but yeah, like I said, I was just curious. I think she'd be a nice welcome. So from one end to the other, Greg, there it is. It's
Yeah.
happening.
No.
The only thing I like about it is it will be a nice afternoon treat for us, Greg. It'll be an early morning treat for you. Uh, Somebody did bring up, man, the women. I'm going to feel bad for those women because they're going to be all, you know, um, dressed to the skin to head to toe, and whoever's the Iron Woman will definitely be the Iron Woman because she's probably going to be sweating it up in the ring and working hard and all that stuff, Greg. But um, yeah, this is happening, and the first Royal Rumble that goes international, and it's happening in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, that's all. I mean, I just hate. I don't know. I feel it. It feels the whole word like I know it's a lot of word like icky. Is that? I guess that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. And I could not hate it more. I mean, bad enough we have to do the Saudi Arabia thing at all. And I get it. They're giving us a WWE a boatload of cash,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 boatloads of cash. I get it. But there's institutions that you shouldn't be touching. WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, uh, probably Survivor Series,
The big four.
and Elimination Chamber is, it's not as steeped in tradition as the others, but Royal Rumble should never leave the U.S. So when I see this, it just makes my skin crawl because it's not going to have the same flavor, that same feel as it is when it's here.
Yeah.
So I
But their
hope
fans
this.
do. I will give their fans credit. They do a good job, and it's been nice to see the influx of women now. Remember those first couple Saudi shows? It was all men and maybe a sprinkle, but now you have the little girls in the crowd. I mean, essentially, like people have called it their sports washing. This touristy area of Saudi Arabia, and like you said, the money talks. Unfortunately, I mean, and even people have brought up, what if Roman and Rock, the prince over there, might say, "Hey, here's some money for Roman Rock. Give us that here." But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah. But anyways, that's happening, and like I know I brought up in the chat, I'm like, I would think there's got to be a couple more years left on that deal, but if the money's right, Greg, we might get another 10 years or so in Saudi. So
True,
who's
but
to
let's
say?
let's make this a one off with the Rumble because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's we that's the institution. That's almost as bad as taking WrestleMania over there.
Or give it, like the crown jewel, I kind of thought was different. Let that be their big.
Right.
Now that you've made that whole title there, and stuff like that. So, but let's get to the good stuff. Raw on Netflix. Eyeballs were everywhere, Greg. They did the nice little cold open with that screen all around, and they had the Triple H give the story of wrestling. A lot of terms that usually aren't said on TV, but they were said. And of course, Greg, we knew. I think everybody and their mom knew Triple H would kick off Raw, and he definitely kicked it off. And then boom, we get The Rock making peace with everybody. Greg, where were you with The Rock and, essentially just playing the PR guy? I mean, I guess that's the best way to say it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's fine. It was a great way to open the show. And big props for, the history of wrestling promo with Triple H.
Yeah, that thing.
And doing the whole, Rock concert, wall, video wall in the middle was pretty sweet. And Rock coming out first, it fits because, he's the man, he's the chairman, or one of the chairmen of the board on the WWE side. And, the Netflix crowd knows The Rock from, all his movies.
Yeah.
And whether, they acknowledge him as a wrestler or not, when they see Rock as the first person out, we know who he is. He's probably the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now. So, he's going to get eyeballs. And for him, it's best for him to play, corporate pitchman, put everybody over. And then we can leap into his character roles. So everybody, getting on him, why putting Cody over and giving him hugs and all this stuff and just talking glowingly about him, beating his brains out last year. We'll get to that. So it was the right thing to do, be Mr. Nice Guy and, for the crowd, first time audience, everybody's watching, and it's the right move. So we can get into the good stuff later.
I feel like any week The Rock can show up in turn.
Yeah.
And it's, and as long as you have Michael Cole and Pat McAfee explaining to the Netflix audience, for those tuning in, I mean, it's all about telling that story, with commentary as well. So, it's like you're watching a movie, like they say, sometimes it takes a little bit to start up. And I know people are already running with, I think, Roman and Rock are both scheduled to be on the 27th. So there we go. The Rock brought up 20 days. I'm 20 steps ahead. And then people were running with, well, in 20 days, Roman is back scheduled to be on Netflix Raw. So there we go. We could be off and running. And, then there's also the other side. Some have said maybe The Rock wants John Cena to have all the love at WrestleMania. So maybe you do save The Rock and Roman or The Rock and Cody, for John Cena because it's his, official last tour and, his time is is now. So there's a few different thoughts there. And I mean, The Rock is still, like I said, I still think there could be a turn. I mean, we didn't know how the road would be last year. We were gung-ho, Greg, on it's going to be Rock and Roman. So, and then they saw the Cody stuff. And so, yeah, it could turn on a dime. That's a good thing about wrestling, And, they keep saying we're penciling in. Nothing is in black Sharpie yet, Greg. So.
Right.
There's no doubt Roman Reigns defeats Solo. Lots of interaction or interference here, Greg. But it's tribal combat, so you can kind of play it up like that. There was a nice video afterwards where The Rock waited for Solo and, gave him his props, backstage. So Solo's the main man. Roman gets his tribal stuff back. The Rock can still maybe say he wants to be he's still above the tribal chief, legit. So you still have that avenue to play. But lot of hard hitting action there, but like a lot of interference, a couple ref bumps, and Roman gets the win, and The Rock comes out to celebrate with him. I did notice Rock looked towards Paul Heyman for a second, gave him a little wink, Greg, and I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. And then it didn't happen. But, you know, I don't know. We always talk about the little details. Could that mean something down the road? So,
Right.
um,
We're all
yeah.
sitting there waiting for it because, he comes out. And I get it. He wants to be the one to present the Ulafala, but we're waiting on that moment because there's a bunch of moments where he could just,
Yeah.
shaking his
Rock
hand. He
bottom.
just throw that hand over the shoulder.
Yep.
Boom, rock bottom. And I was just waiting for it, and they didn't give it to us. So, they created that tension though. Like, okay, this it. And fed us those moments and then didn't do anything. So,
And even Roman playing his part, like kept looking back, and then finally,
right.
like, okay, I can breathe, and that's when you're on. That's when it's almost like boom, you do it. But match wise, I think they did a really good job, solid job with going back and forth. I mean, we're still gun ho wherever whoever Jacob faces first in his big marquee matchup, Greg. That's where that's where I really the eyeballs should be at because Jacob cut a nice promo last night going to
Yeah.
the ring, and you could tell they're keeping Solo off TV, so now you can build up Jacob. Sorry, Tama, your yeah is about the only thing that's going to get you over. And then Tonga or his brother is unfortunately laid up in a hospital or recovering. So this is all Jacob's time for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
This is all Jacob on too. But John Cena, Greg, already the odds-on favorite to win the Rumble. So my big thing is I want there to be a lot of doubt. I almost say he tries to win 17 towards the end of the year. So it's like, oh God, I mean, I guess it's more predictable because it's towards the end of the year, Greg, but then also like it's that idea like, okay, he didn't win at Mania. He didn't win it at SummerSlam. When is he gonna win it? But I just don't know how I feel about a John Cena Royal Rumble win. How are you feeling about that possibly?
Yeah, we're gonna get a great show at the Royal Rumble. This just keeps getting bigger and bigger and
Yeah.
bigger.
I mean, you already have
Yeah.
Roman and John Cena announced. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And what John Cena did, that was a powerful promo.
Yeah.
And he goes in, he goes, well, I don't know. I'm just here for the ride. And
Yeah.
who knows? My title days are over. And he talks himself into getting into the Royal Rumble and winning. And
Yeah.
by the time he's done, he's like, I'm going to win.
Mhm.
And, you can't help but believe the guy. And at, I'm part of me likes it, part of me doesn't like it. And it put him in the number one spot too, as far as being the winner until last night,
Mhm.
and Paul Heyman coming out and giving Roman's plan of attack to Cody and goes, he's going to get into the Royal Rumble, and that's how he's going to get his title back. And now that has put that doubt in my mind. Okay, so now we know who two of the final four in the Rumble are going to be. There's going to be John Cena, and there's going to be Roman Reigns. So
I think
now that's put it out there that this might not be a slam dunk for John Cena after all. So just Roman getting in there has put that doubt in the mind for me and probably a lot of other people.
well, I mean, I'll shift a little bit ahead. What about CM Punk? I mean, he's never won a Rumble. Now he does have that favor from Heyman, so that could be
Yep.
the ticket that he gets screwed in the Rumble. He just pulls that card out. But I think Punk getting a nice run, in the Rumble would be awesome to see. And he did get the win over Seth Rollins. Interesting, Greg. Kevin Owens was kind of screwed out of things. Drew McIntyre lost the match. Seth Rollins lost the match.
Yep.
We were very face heavy. I mean, all the faces won, right? Roman,
Right.
John Cena was out there. Rhea Ripley won. Jay and CM Punk won. So, I know Seth is still getting the love, but for all intents and purposes, Seth is really teetering on that line. I like the idea of maybe Seth, Drew, and Kevin getting into cahoots together, Greg, to somehow, I don't know what, I guess it almost feels like what the Death Riders idea, where you're
Yeah.
not really sure what their purpose, even though they keep getting screwed. Whereas in AEW, Moxley's already won the title. He's not screwed over, but you could have this, threesome that is strong, and they're logically right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's why Kevin Owens has the Kevin is right shirt. So, but yeah. What about Rhea Ripley? I mean, I guess there was no doubt she was going to win, Greg. But and now we're done with her and Liv. We got Finn and Damien, so I guess Damien's going to win next week, right, Greg?
I hope Finn
I mean,
wins. To be honest with you, I'm tired of the Finn and Damien angle, and
well, and that's
I
why I
guess
wonder if Damien wins and then they move on from all parties. But
right for that reason, I'd be fine with that result.
yeah,
But it's time to finally let these guys go in their own direction and let Damien pivot into something else.
yeah.
Um, so I'm a Finn guy, but for the sake of being done with the Judgment Day story, we can go ahead and let Damien win.
And I do like to be a little noticing of little things, Greg. Logan Paul was featured in the crowd right after John Cena's promo. Just saying. I'm just saying. But, I like to notice the little things. So, because, I mean,
True,
I think
true.
John Cena and Logan Paul is a match. I don't know why I want to see it. It just feels like I want John Cena just to kick the what out of him. Maybe that's why. But then I know Logan Paul can go, so it's like I think they'd be good foils for each other. But
True.
not at Mania. Not at
And shout
Mania.
out to Rhea. That was a great match. And
Yes,
it's about time she got it back. So
and
let's
took
finally
out.
be done with Rhea and Liv too. So
Yes, it's all done there. Uh, I feel like she's going to get overshadowed at Mania just because
yeah.
of the men, but I still think she'll get a good match. It looks like everybody's going on the Io Sky route, Greg. Are we good with Io and Rhea?
No, we've seen that.
I don't know what I mean. I guess
At least,
do we go Becky and Rhea?
yeah, you need a bigger name than EO. I mean, I'm as much as a fan of EO that I am, but I want to see a bigger name than that in there with her because she deserves that. She's done an awesome job this past year of carrying the brand by herself, the women's brand. So I
I
want a
mean, I
bigger
guess
name in there for her.
with Io, you probably have both of them like wanting to show why they deserve that match too. So but Jey Uso did not partake in the Sage. What a time, Craig! Like I was like, oh, Travis Scott's got something. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, harken back to remember when R-Truth was smoking a cigarette on that random Raw where I think he was in the feud with John Cena, and then even back in the day where Big Show, Paul White on the Giant came out with his cigarette. He was on WCW. He was kind of going through his weird NWO phase, and but. And we got to say, Xavier Woods holding the little sifter of whatever that was. So we are in the I like to call it the game show era, Greg. If you remember a good old match game back in the day, they used to have the nice cigarette and a cigarette in their hand and a drink in their hand when they were on those game shows. So very interesting that I mean it's Netflix, so hey, they did edit a couple words of Rock. I know. But for the most part, it did felt a little more free, obviously. But Jay defeats Drew with the roll up. I think Jay finally defeats him. Now, if we could get Sammy with the big win over Drew, and man, we are going to get totally psycho, even more off the deep end. Drew McIntyre, Greg, but good match there.
Yeah, it was a good match. But both ways they told a great story, and then great finish. They'd been ducking each other's finishers, a couple times over, and he takes the momentum of the Claymore, ducks it, and pins the shoulders down in a backslide. So, great finish. He squeaks out by the skin of his teeth so it doesn't make Drew look bad. And, he's, scurries out of there. So it works. That was, a fitting in, and it doesn't hurt Drew, even though he's the one that takes the fall. But, he still looks like a beast at the end, standing over the ropes at him, breathing fire. So there's going to be a lot more to do with those two. So I was completely cool with it.
Very interested to see what the Mania road looks like for Drew McIntyre. Because, if he keeps getting screwed over, does he? I mean, like I brought up, maybe him and John Cena at Mania. He can, call out John Cena for declaring himself for the Rumble, and maybe Drew's not in the Rumble or something like that. So, what about CM Punk and Seth Rollins using each other's finishers a few times, kicking out of finishers a few times? Yucking it up with all the crowd there. Kieran Culkin got the front row seat, but McCauley got the bigger pop, Greg. I'll bring it up at the end of our little celebrity sightings, but CM Punk gets the big win over Seth, and I think both guys did want to go out there and show why they wanted to be in the main event of the first time on Netflix, and I mean, what a rub for them, really. So,
yeah, it was a solid match. Enjoyed it a lot. I was hoping it'd be more violent, but they were very, they're known for being really technically sound wrestlers and being able to, go through, that same type of match without the blood and just with holds and telling the story through holds, things like that. They did go outside and do some business out there, smash each other to tables and the ring posts and things like that, but keep it a highly technical match. So I enjoyed it. It was great back and forth and giving us those moments where I feel like either one of them could win at any second. And we're very, very happy with the finish, but we know that's just going to be the start of what is going to be a series of matches. So I was super, super hype about it, and it delivered. Um, so it's my second favorite match of the night. So I don't know about you, but
what was your first, Roman and Solo?
Yeah.
And that was the thing. I feel like they put on such a high quality match. I knew CM Punk and Seth had to deliver on their own to kind of, rival that. So, but I mean, I think it's saying a lot that they did give Punk and Rollins the main event slot over Roman and Solo. So,
yeah.
Pop of the night was Macaulay Culkin, right? Though.
No, I think it was Topanga.
Was it Topanga? But
Topanga was in the building.
Eric Matthews gets no love, Greg. No love for Eric. A good thing they didn't have Corey there, but and I kind of like that Seth Green was there. He got no pop. I mean, people are like, Seth Green, and then Macaulay Culkin's right next to him, and boom. I mean, the people just went nuts for him. So
Topanga got a nice toss-up between him and Topanga.
And Topanga got the last laugh because she called out the New Day backstage. So there you go.
True.
Yeah, the New Day's still rolling. Looking ahead to next week, Greg, Chad Gable wants a luchador. Yeah, that's going to be.
You know what time it is. Yes, sir.
It is going to be. I'm okay with them doing Penta in a first singles match first. And then, maybe he helps out Ray the next week or whatever. But it is going to be quite. I mean, and there was an in-crowd shot when they revealed the thing. And, I mean, the crowd was really popping for it. So I think, Chad Gable and Pentagon Jr., whatever or do they just go by Penta maybe? That is going to be quite the pop for Penta. And it gets him a good win, Greg, right off the bat.
Absolutely.
So, what else did they announce? We'll also have Lyra versus Dakota. I want Dakota, right? I mean,
well, they're doing not what you expect as far as winners go. I mean, look at Chelsea Green. So
yeah, that's true.
The fact that this could be Dakota's moment, even though you look at the two and figure, okay, this is Lyra easy. Yeah. That's when they pull the trigger on the other person. So I can see Dakota getting it just so they can see how she's going to do with the strap. So
Yeah.
um, I think that we may be in for a surprise there.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where that's placed at too. Do you kick off the night with it? Do you maybe put it at an hourly thing? So, um, and then is it gonna the Wyatt Six and the Miz and Final Testament again? Is that next week or is that? I know they Karrion Crossroad talked the Miz into doing that. Not sure. Is that maybe leading to a Mania match between Miz and Karrion?
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know where. I guess we're kind of on the fence of where that's going to lead things.
Well, maybe the pre-show WrestleMania, but
Yeah,
it's not really hitting like they hope it's going to hit. So
yeah,
it's it's just there. It's
yeah.
not. There's nothing special about it at the moment. I don't know what the point is, turning Miz back to a babyface, or um,
Or just a
because
lackey for for carrying Cross until he's done with him, type deal.
right.
So, yeah, but NXT, we did have two new champions. Greg, we have Julia defeating Roxanne. So happy trails, Roxanne. We'll see you at Royal Rumble. And then Oba, the ruler of the world, gets his title, Greg. And we will see you at the Royal Rumble, Trick Williams. Eddie Thorpe, no. But Trick Williams, yes. So it's truly a new, a new coat of paint, as they say. And then, of course, you have Stephanie winning the Fatal 4-Way. I think that North American title is going to be hers sooner rather than later, Greg. So maybe we could get a little title versus title match or champion versus champion match. And then what else? Some other things happen. Oh, Lexus King keeps rolling with the Heritage Cup, and I think they're calling themselves Chemical X. They're going to have to get Tatum some colored hair, Greg. Right? She's her black hair looks too normal next to Shotzi and
Yeah.
Gigi. And then The Rock, what a rub, literally on the ass to Ethan Page, and using the word "seal" on the main roster. I mean that, I think it was Hornswoggle tweeted out if he was a fly in the wall of Ethan Page's house afterwards, Ethan Page was probably as giddy as heck getting that rub from The Rock. So really good, and they're re-showing it tonight because I guess a lot of LA couldn't see it because of the wildfires. So pretty cool to
Makes sense.
they're definitely building up this episode, as a big deal. So The Rock, saying he's 20 steps ahead. The Rock cut more of a Rock promo on NXT than he did, Monday night. But we're definitely getting final boss mode. I can tell. I think The Rock sees there that he needs to work Mania. But lots of good stuff. Let's start first, Greg. Our new champions. What are we thinking?
Love it. We got the new champions. And this is, as I like to say, it's Triple H reshuffling the deck.
Yeah.
And with both the men and women's champions changing, that's just your cue right there. The champion dropping off their titles before they head to the main roster.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Rumble, Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rumble, Trick Williams. You guys are going to end up on the main roster post Rumble. And with the whole transfer window thing, that's going to be their way to get in before WrestleMania instead of the show after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So that's just their signal right there. They're coming up, and they're dropping off the titles in the best hands. Obafemi is the best man up to take over the men's division. Julia, apparently they think that she's the best person to take over for Roxanne. And I'm couldn't be more excited for Trick and Roxanne to get promoted to the big stage, to Raw and SmackDown, because they're going to kill it up there, I have no doubt, especially with Triple H in charge, as opposed to previous years where they get promoted and then into Vince McMahon's hands. So the whole new world going on right now. So couldn't be more excited for those two. And it's great. I can't wait to see it. And then, Rock being Rock, like I said, that was more of a, now we're getting back to character Rock instead of corporate pitchman Rock. And Ethan Page comes in, and Ethan Page, yes, final boss, and Rock acknowledges, go, yes, final boss. And he's getting back into that mode, and that promo he cut is more final boss Rock than we heard Monday night. So it's happening. So I can't wait for it.
It won a moment for like Ava to be on TV with her dad like that.
Yeah,
because I can't remember if they, I don't know if they've been on TV together or not, but
I don't think they have.
I'm sure her going home that night was like a dream, Greg. So Ethan Page in the Royal Rumble, do we think, or do we maybe wait, Raw or SmackDown debut?
No, I think put him in the Rumble. He's run his course in NXT. He's ready. He's been ready. He has the experience, and now he has the
seal of approval.
Right, and now people who didn't know who he was when he came in from AEW know who he is, and and now he's got that fan base to bring up with him. So yeah, bring him up, put him in the Rumble too.
Who would have foreseen, Ethan, even like Lexus King too, getting a nice run. Now he's officially the NXT Heritage Cup champion. So we'll see where he goes with that. But SmackDown stuff. So we had Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes bookend, as I say, both ends of the spectrum, Greg. They were there at the start. They got a wild brawl. They went at the end. They had a wild brawl. That ladder match, I think they're going to go all out in that ladder match, Greg. And with, like people brought up, with both titles up there, do we see some weird shenanigans? But I'm feeling like if you grab one title, they're just going to give you, it's going to be that weird big hook thing. So kind of crazy to think the Wing Eagle is still getting its love too, Greg. So I'm sure I don't know if it's totally playing that way, but hey, you put the money for a Wing Eagle belt, Greg, you might as well put it on TV. But Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, I'm very excited to see that in person and just see what kind of, maybe some package pile driver on a ladder, something like that. But yeah, really looking forward to that. So what else? Jimmy Uso saved Paul Heyman. We almost had another Paul Heyman beat down by the Bloodline. That sets up the main event, which was Cody Rhodes and Jimmy versus Jacob and Tonga. And like I said earlier, you brought up Greg, Jacob. My God, he is. Yeah. 2025 is going to be quite the road for him. So they get the win at the end. Any thoughts there, kind of at the beginning, Greg, and then we'll get into some of the middle stuff.
Yeah, I mean, now we can see why KO didn't go to AEW, because KO is killing it. And I know when it was time for him to talk about his contract and what he's going to do, and he put his trust in Triple H, and Triple H is, we're going to take care of you, kind of thing. And he's been put at the top of the card since then. He's had winning the tag team championships at WrestleMania with Sammy, and now he's in the top rivalry with Cody Rhodes, and he is just the most delicious heel. And like I've said over and over, he's the best because he believes he's right, and we can look at the story and what he's saying, and we can go, Kevin is right. There's a lot of people who say Kevin is right, and I'm one of them. And the way he's done it, it is 100% Kevin, and it's, unique in that way. And it's just great. Every time he's on TV, I'm locked in. When he did that promo last night while Cody and Paul Heyman are standing in the ring, and he comes out and he cuts the "Why I'm Right" promo, and I'm like, he's right, and I'm on Kevin's side now. So, and we all want to see what it'd be like if he wins the title, but they've found a way to give him a title in the meantime.
Anyway,
he may have stolen the Wing Eagle title, but they gave him a title. So, he's not recognized as the champion, but he's, the reason that this is happening. And he's the Wayne Eagle champion right now. So I like their way of doing that in a way of appeasing us, Kevin is right fans, by giving him a title. And, he just takes it by force, which is a very KO thing to do. So um, the beginning and the end was perfect. Um, the promo is perfect. And then, you get to the match, and it was the perfect way to wrap it up. And nothing is resolved, and you're going to have this carry on to Rumble. So beautiful work. I loved all of it.
Do we think the plan for Kevin Owens at Mania is Sami Zayn? I know we've had it before, Greg, but both guys are in such a better place, and I feel like the crowd is more behind them. So, and it's been a few years since they fought one-on-one. I mean, because Kevin Owens did bring up, hey, I'll get to Sami Zayn when I get to him. And, what better way than at WrestleMania, let them have their, in Vegas, maybe let them pull out some of their old independent stuff. But
sure,
because I don't really know right now where else the plan is for Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves the top spot. But do we see him in 101 for the championship? No. So what's the best?
Yeah.
What's the other best place to put him?
Yeah.
So Sammy would make perfect sense. There's a way for him to blow off the rest of his anger for not having a championship to fight for or defend. And those guys, like I said, have the history, and they could have a match that steals the whole show. So I say, why not?
Chelsea Green defeated Michin. Is this the year Michin wins the singles title? They were really harping on it, Greg. So I feel like down the road, Michin wins that United States Championship. Not yet, not anytime soon, but do we think 2025 is the year that Michin gets a title?
Probably. I think
they were really building it up, I felt like. So, BFAB will be next in line. It looks like there was a little backstage segment. I don't know if it was on. It was on Twitter, so maybe it wasn't on. I don't remember it being on TV, but BFAB was talking to Nick Aldis, focusing on herself right now since the Street Profits are, out of action right now. So, kind of interested to see if BFAB how she does with Chelsea Green. This is a very tag team heavy night, Greg, because we had Los Garzas defeat Pretty Deadly. Nice to see them actually get, some action. And then Motor City Machine Guns. The rumors of their demise were greatly exaggerated, Greg, because they got a big win. Now, what about A-Town Down Under? Weren't they just, weren't we teasing that breakup of them? Or do you think Triple H or whoever backstage is like, maybe we just need to keep these guys together?
Yeah, I mean, just for the small term, because they
for
really
Mania?
do need to rebuild the tag team division.
Yeah.
And they're off to a good start with DIY and the Machine Guns. You got the Garzas, Pretty Deadly. And so you're slowly adding teams. I don't know what happened to Street Profits, but they're there. And then, you got the New Day, the New Day. So we need to get, solid tag teams and not just two people thrown together. And they're doing a good job of creating that atmosphere so that now you actually have a tag team division. You got War Raiders in the mix and, some established tag teams. So I think for a little while you can keep A-Town Down Under a thing until it's time to split them up because, they're a legitimate team too. So, why not? You need to build a tag team division, not just have, the the bloodline teams and everybody else.
Yeah. Bailey picked up a big win. LA Knight picks up the win technically by DQ because of Jacob and Tama wrecking it. Jacob is your United States champion come Mania, Greg. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, very nice. I like it.
But there's a reasoning why he was in that, wrecking that match, right? So it should be very interesting to see, where they go with that. And I'm okay with Bailey being the first title defense because she brought up Tiffany's never beat her, Greg. So
Yeah,
what better way than for Tiffany to get a first title defense against someone you've never beat? So
I agree. Yeah.
and we're still we're letting the Jade stuff kind of percolate in the back. Like they didn't really bring it up, did they? So I think that's very interesting to kind of see. Even though last night Bianca did accidentally hit Naomi with her braid, Greg. So we
Right.
could get a battle of the of the black women there soon. But I think the Jade return is going to be interesting. She posted on Twitter a picture of her just standing all covered in blood, Greg. So Jade is going to play it up somewhere. But yeah, any kind of closing thoughts on SmackDown, and then we'll get some AW stuff.
Yeah. The Jacob, I agree 100%. He needs the title because that guy is an animal. Um, love watching him. Anything he does, he just is a freight train, and just his athleticism is ridiculous. Uh, and his promos, dude, he sounds like a UFC fighter more than a WWE wrestler because they are real and raw, and it's awesome. And he shows he doesn't need a microphone. He just stands there and
Yeah.
barks at the camera, and it hits you right in the face just watching it from home. So I need more Jacob Fatu promos in my life. It's too good. Um, and I pledge allegiance to Chelsea Green. You know,
What about Piper Niven, the secret security? That was a nice touch.
that was awesome. Yes. And Chelsea was in my Liv Morgan category for a while. Is I'd rather turn off the TV than watch her. But after her GCW run, and now since she's come up, reappeared on the WWE roster, um, slowly but surely she's gotten into my bloodstream too, and it's just become more and more fun to watch her. And now I'm 100% on board. She was the highlight of Saturday night's main event, which says something for that show. But when she hit that I'm prettier off the middle rope and just buried Meechin's face into the mat, I'm like, okay, I'm there. I'm 100% in. And she's just too much fun to watch. I mean, going all the way back to the dumpster match and the Karen stuff, she's been the female version of R-Truth. And she's.
But she can go.
Yeah, she can go, though. And
well, I'm
now
surprised you didn't bring up her Lucha Underground upbringing, Greg.
True. Because that's a long
Reclusa,
time
right?
ago since he was.
Her and Penta. We need to get into our YouTube viewing because I've seen people share highlights from her and Penta having a match together. So that is very interesting. Interesting there. So,
but yeah, I'm a Chelsea Green fan now. She's converted me the same way Liv has converted me. So this championship run with the U.S. title, I am here for all the smoke, all the shenanigans.
Bump at Money in the Bank, Greg. I was like, okay, she needs something because man, that was one of the biggest bumps for a woman in a while. So
yeah.
All right, well that is SmackDown. I think we got everything, and I got to give Nick Aldis a lot of man. Nick Aldis is he's really bloomed into something really good. I didn't really know much about him. I knew he wrestled. I remember him and Cody wrestling for the NWA title, Greg, back in the AEW days, or maybe the double or the first pay-per-view ever. But anyways, Nick Aldis is really a nice, and Adam Pearce for his own stuff. Like, I love how Nick Aldis is more the calm, collected, and Adam Pearce is always in a kind of a state of chaos, but that's the way that they're presenting both shows. So, I really like how both guys have really there's a lot of if they ever leave, there's gonna be some big shoes to fill. So
Yeah, Nick Aldis was an awesome wrestler. I've watched a lot of his matches in TNA
yeah,
when TNA was hot,
mhm.
and he was wrestling as Magnus,
Yeah, that's
and I saw him have some great matches on the TNA brand. So,
mhm.
and he's still filling out that suit. So, I'm sure if he
Ever
ends
needs to
up in
take it
a
off.
take it off, he's still going to have like the 12-pack abs and pecs of doom right here. Guy is ripped, and looking at him in those suits, he still looks like he is from. He fills it out like he's just about to bust out of it like the
and he
Incredible Hulk
got
or something.
and he bagged big Mickey James, Greg. Not a bad deal for him.
Right.
Not a bad deal for him. So, some stuff about AEW. So Malachi Black, technically under contract, but come on over. Come on, Alistair. We got Code Orange is revving up the band, Greg. Don't know if it happens in Royal Rumble. Well, it looks like since he'll be a free agent in February, March. I
Ooh.
thought the whole 90 days thing was gone, but because I remember reading that happening, but I don't know if that way it plays in the WWE world or the wrestling world. But I knew for like journalists, like that 90-day thing is done. So like a journalist could leave a local station channel 6 for a local station channel 8 the next day. So I thought it was an overall thing. But anyways, yeah, Triple H probably has him on speed dial, is already, getting that contract written up, and Malachi Black will be gracing our TVs sooner rather than later, I think. So
Oh, I hope so. Let's go.
yeah. Get the
And
candles
now,
ready, get Zelina back with her man.
exactly. And now you don't have Vince McMahon ruining his character, and he can go back to the way he was when he first came on the scene in NXT, and go back to that. So I am all on board for it. Um, I will be. It was a huge bragging point for me. I was there for his first match
Mm,
at WrestleMania 33 in NXT,
okay, yeah.
and that is coming out party, his first match, and against Andrade
Hmm.
in a banger of a match, and so I always enjoy having that moment. But yes, please bring him back, and please give him that shiny hat when he first came back. So um, come on back, Alistair. Come on to us.
He's
I
coming.
love him in AEW too, but this is a different time, and
Yeah.
like I said, you don't have Vince screwing up his image. So let's come back and have Triple H do you right.
Really, I kind of had a blank sheet here. Nothing really else caught my eye AW wise, Greg. Was there anything else that you caught AW wise?
No,
Um,
we gotta go back to my dude Ricochet.
mm.
Oh yes.
What about him in the? I was going to bring him up in the casino
Okay.
gauntlet, but go ahead. You have at
Okay.
it. We
I gotta
got
make sure we talk about him because
it. What
this
a
this
change of character for him.
yeah, this is about time. It's about time. I've been Team Ricochet since day one,
Yeah.
but even I can admit that his biggest issue is he has no personality. He has no exactly. It's so
I've been
awesome. I
working on
love
that
it.
all week, Greg. I think I got it.
Oh, but he's got all the in ring ability in the world. He does the most high flying, amazing stuff we've ever seen, but he hasn't had the character to go with it. He hasn't had the reason for us to invest in it. You can do all the flippy stuff in the world, and it's awesome. But you know what? Who else has all the flippy stuff in the world? So Cirque du Soleil the performers. So you got to give us something to stand out. And it was a great way they set
Or
it up. They have him come and try to get into the hurt business, and they shut him down. And then they have him come up with Swerve and try to buddy up to Swerve, and Swerve talks down to him. And then they have the whole business with World's End,
Mhm.
where Swerve tells him, you screw up in uh, the title tournament and lose, I'm going to embarrass you, because they've been talking stuff to each other.
Mhm.
And Ricochet loses, and the end of that story is that Swerve and Nana come out with a wagon full of toilet paper,
Mhm.
passing
I
it
remember
out to the
that.
crowd while Swerve's cutting his promo about how crappy he is and
Mhm.
how do we clean up crap, and everybody toilet papers Ricochet standing in the middle of the ring.
Mhm.
And it was a great visual, him seething, to standing there covered in toilet paper, and he's like, okay, they got the last laugh. How's Ricochet going to bounce back from this? Fast forward a week later, Swerve's match. Ricochet's on the other side of the barrier, and he's holding a golden pair of scissors.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking of, ribbon cutting ceremonies where you're debuting opening a new store or a city park, and they take the gold scissors and they cut the ribbon, and
Yeah.
yay, everybody's welcome now. And I was seeing
A
him
little bit
standing there
different.
holding those
A little
scissors. I'm
bit
like,
different with
oh,
that.
I pop huge, like looking at him holding those scissors, like, are we gonna get what I think we're
And
gonna
the
get?
white shirt. You always have to have the white shirt when you're
Yes,
going to bloody up somebody, Greg.
right. And then he takes those scissors and he stabs Swerve over and over with them. I'm like, yes. And it's not the one of the weirdest things I cheer for, but bloody him with some scissors, yes. Uh, but it's so long time coming
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
we get Ricochet and this character change, adding some character to it, adding some flavor, and then ha! It's too good. I love it. And now
I
we
mean,
get to see a side of him we've never seen before. So I am so hyped, so here for it. And he just looks like evil Poindexter. And that's what we've needed. We've needed some flair from him. And the part the gauntlet also where he comes out to Swerve's music.
mhm.
And then, no, it's me. Ha! It's
Mhm.
so great. Now he's playing psychology with us. It's perfect. It does my heart good. I'm so happy. So happy. Now we
We'll
get to
see.
see
I
evil
mean, now we
Ricochet.
can see. Yeah. Now we're really going to see how what I brought up earlier, a well-rounded character. You need all the
Yes.
people. That's why Will Ospreay hit so hard because his promos hit hard. I mean, he's got truth behind them. You got the big win over Buddy Matthews. He called him Buddy Murphy, I believe, in the promo, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Will. That's why I think Will Ospreay hit so hard because there was just the depth of character.
Yep.
You feel like you could legit just sit next to him and he'd talk to you. Like a real person type. So,
Yeah.
um, now Will Hobbs ends up winning the gauntlet. Yeah. And his music is
Demon
always
Moxley did have a banger of a match back in the day during COVID.
that's true. Yeah.
They'd had a banger.
Yeah. And we're gonna get the um it's in Moxley's hometown, so maybe the crowd will actually pop because when Moxley came out earlier or later that night, Greg, and they let out Adam Copeland, there wasn't much of a pop. I think the crowd is kind of just not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have time for that.
yeah. We just
No, nobody wants to see this.
Dynamite was an interesting show because you had Jeff Jarrett in the MJF segment, Greg, and yeah, that was. Ugh. And then Lashley defeats Briscoe. I mean, we did have Statlander. Chris Statlander's gets the number one spot.
Mhm.
Tony Storm. We brought it up earlier, Greg. Whenever she turns, it's going to be quite the interest. It's going to be interesting to see what triggers her to do to
Yeah.
beat back to Tony Storm. So, but I did have the picture of Kenny Omega. This is much needed life. I think brought back into AW. A
Yes.
legit banger. He did scare me, Greg. Though, talking about how hard it was to come back. I was
Yeah.
like, oh God, he had a setback, didn't he? and he's done, like officially. But he gets laid out by Cage. and he'll get that match next week. So Brian Cage and him will go at it. I mean, what a way to get back thrown in the fire, I guess, Greg, with
Yeah.
somebody half your size. So really good promo by, and just going right after Don Callis. I love that. Not letting even Callis get a word out.
Right.
But yeah, Osprey comes out for the save, but then there's also the tension of Osprey and Omega because they fought. I think it was what they say, maybe 2017 or 2018 ish. So you got that. Yeah, Kenny Omega is much needed back on TV. I felt like he gave a nice breath of fresh air to Dynamite because Dynamite was kind of not Dynamite.
Yeah. And it was definitely needed. I love seeing Kenny back, and just knowing, diverticulitis, that is
That's what
real.
Brock
That's what
Lesnar.
almost
Yeah.
killed Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And hearing he had the same thing, and they're telling the same story.
Yeah.
So, it's not a storyline, illness. This is a real deal.
Yeah.
If you're not in that hospital fast enough, it will kill you. And it almost killed Brock, and apparently it almost killed Kenny. Shout out to South Park.
Yeah.
But
Oh. I'm gonna need a button
but
to make Greg that I can just bring that up on demand.
we do,
Need a
yeah.
soundboard, but anyways.
But yeah, that it was a great promo. I'm glad Kenny's back, and they sold it well. We having Cage come out and punch him right in the gut,
Right. Yeah.
and he's sold it, but he's good. They just showed in the package before he came out that he had a bloody match in Japan,
Mhm.
and him going, yeah, I'm back. So he can go, he can take it, and now he's back. So welcome back, Kenny, and they were putting him out as the cleaner and his old tropes, but I wanted Justin Roberts going heat da 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 heat da 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 North Carolina,
Yeah.
and I want that intro
Mhm.
for his first match. I hope they go back to doing that because I'm and that blows me away every time, and always pop for the North Carolina line because
Mhm.
shout out my home state. Of all the 50 states, that's the one that they reference. So it pops me every time. But I hope they go back to doing that intro for him for his return to an AEW camera. But glad he's back. And then the face off with Will Ospreay, they had the whole crowd going, holy bleep,
Mhm.
we want to see this match. There's some heat there, with those two, but he didn't make the save. And now we get Kenny back in our lives. And I think we're about to get the Bucks back into our lives because they showed them winning the IWGP's tag team
Yeah. How
titles.
crazy. Yeah. They won it for the second time, which is because they didn't think they'd ever be back to the Tokyo Dome. They were treating their last run there. So
Right.
yeah.
So we're about to get a lot of star power back into the mix with Kenny and the Bucks coming back. And, that's going to lead to, them continuing their rivalry against each other. So I'm excited for what's coming this year from AEW because it's been kind of bland, uh, Death Rider's storyline aside.
And even that, like I said, I just don't know. I know we should be patient, Greg, but there's just still that idea that we don't really know what they want. Because now that Moxley's got the title, well, what else? What else is, you want the power? Okay, well then I guess could Kenny Omega be the one to dethrone Moxley?
He could be. He
I mean,
definitely can be.
then we have Christian take him out, which has happened before. Because remember, Christian was the one that beat Kenny for the TNA title, so we could have full circle moments with everything. But
right.
I mean, I still think maybe the idea that Cope takes out Moxley, and then unfortunately Christian cashes in. But yeah, there's a few ideas out there floating in my brain. As long as Jeff Jarrett does not touch that.
Exactly. I mean, we need to owe the Yellers some veterans for sure.
Well, I did like MJF calling out, Jeff saying, "Hey, you only got a year contract." So You better make the most of it. But looking ahead, so no Rampage anymore, Greg. So we just got Collision, which is live tonight. By the way, Harley Cameron, Greg, is slowly creeping up my under the radar Women Crush Wednesday.
All right, yeah.
But she's got a nice personality. She's musical because she had that promo where she's like singing about her match with Mariah May, and yeah. So and she just broke up with I guess she was with Zion Quinn, which there's a name, Greg.
Yeah.
So there we go. She was the one that she was with Renee Young, and she had saw snow for the first time, and she like went and did a snow angel. Like it was pretty cool to see. So she's slowly creeping up my my Women Crush Wednesday, Greg. So
nice.
And she'll get a chance against Mariah May. I think we all can admit it'll be Mariah May winning. Big Bill gets a match against Cope. And then Dax Harwood gets a match against Jericho, Greg. So there's kind of our preview ahead. So, yeah, we still just, now we just have Collision and we got Dynamite to worry about on the AW side. It looks like they'll make Dynamite some special episodes. Now they're going with the Maximum Carnage, playing into the Max role. I believe tonight will be streamed on Max as well. So it looks like that deal. Just give us the pay-per-view streaming.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay any more
right now.
Anyways, so, yeah. And last call. So anything for the good of the matter, Greg. Your Chargers tonight, whatever time it is. 4:30 is what I saw. So CBS.
Yes. It's going. We got to put that energy out into the universe. Mm-hmm. The Harbaughs, the Fighting Harbaughs, are going to go out and get this win. Going to get Justin Herbert his due respect.
I thought you said Justin Jefferson for a minute, Craig. I was like,
no, we got to get.
That's tomorrow.
We got to get Justin Herbert his respect because too many people are talking about him. He's not elite. He doesn't have a playoff victory yet. And that's not his fault. Go back to that last championship or playoff match. 27-point lead, and his defense gave away that lead, not Justin Herbert. He did his job. So, it's unfair to put that on him that he didn't get that win because, the defense and the team as a whole let him down, the coaching, everything. So now it's time to make it right. We got the right people in place, and we got the perfect team, perfect spot. Everything is aligned, and it's time to go and get Justin, put some respect on his name. So I am super excited about it. Super excited about 2 more weeks. Oh, 3 more weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. Oh, yep.
Before we're live in color together. And I'm going to do a pre-show, post-show, all the shows.
We'll do,
I'm super excited for Rumble because every show seems like we're getting extra thrown into the mix. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be an epic, historic Rumble that we get to see together. Super excited about that. Mm-hmm. And we're all on Netflix. I can't wait to see more of it because it was super slick. It looked super awesome. Like the new, ref gear. The set looks great. The new announce table doesn't like it's made out of cardboard anymore.
Yeah.
So,
even SmackDown they brought up. Remember yesterday on SmackDown they brought up, it's a metal table. That was kind of interesting. I know we did not get into who getting booed out the building. That was by design. Yeah.
That was so great. I loved it so much. My faith in WWE fans, if it diminished, it is restored. Because that was perfect. It was. I never want to see that dude on my screen.
He got the pop at first, and I was like, okay. And then, man, it just,
booed out the building. There's no way they can deny it. So it was great.
Yeah. And he was taken aback by it. Now he's saying he kind of expected it, Greg. Because that's the thing. It's like, he who shall not be named, like, he talks out both sides of his mouth, and that's what I think is just really the worst part. Because I was the biggest fan. I had his foam finger. I went to WrestleMania 8, and I only remember him being there. But yeah, now that his life has gone on, Greg, it is because Undertaker was out there, and he is of the same. He's giving money to Mr. President Elect. He is on the same side of politically that other guy is, but
Yep.
I don't know. It feels like I I guess we just give so much respect in the ring to Undertaker, and he gives a rub to people. It's not like
Exactly.
I mean, what the promo was, hey, go drink my beer. Like, and that's what sucks, Greg. Like, his beer is featured on the ring mat. So, he's going to be lurking around, Maybe they do a backstage segment next time, though, and cut
Right.
the crowd mic. But Pat McAfee show went deep on it. So there
Oh,
you
it was
go.
hilarious. I saw
But
that.
I did love Undertaker giving Rhea Ripley her props. He gave Damian Priest his props, and because I feel like that's the thing. It's the other guy is not. The other guy's truly there for himself. It feels like
Yeah.
you don't.
Absolutely.
You hear Taker talking up people. You don't hear the other guy talking up. People like that. I mean, he's there to get a quick buck and get his way out. So,
hmm
but yeah, that was quite the. Whew, that was yeah.
It was
I guess
great.
Mark
I
Henry
laughed so hard. It was so great. I
and
loved it.
Mark Henry said he offered to take said person on a black college tour to try to mend fences, and
Oh,
that was turned down.
I would have paid to see that. Yeah.
It does make me think. There was a show way back in the day on MTV, Greg, where Andrew WK visited a black college, and man, like some of the people, it was a women's college too, which made it even more funny because no offense, black women probably really didn't know who Andrew WK was back in the day, but then he did a show for them, and they all were like headbanging and becoming fans of him after the fact. So I do not remember why or what it was called, but I do remember that being on MTV for some reason. Like he even slept in a dorm room. Like they had his own dorm room for him, Greg, and and then he played a show for them, and it was just kind of interesting, random. Remember back in the day, MTV had a lot of random stuff, but like the Maid.
Yeah.
Remember the Maid show where like, oh, I want to be a rock star, so they would make you into a rock star, or I want to
Yeah.
be a fashion runway model, and they'd make you so I just remember for some reason Andrew WK having a show or or an episode for some reason, but anyways, yeah. But unfortunately, his beer is featured on the ring mat, Greg. So it would be interesting if Gunther would just do the whole they do the step on and they slide their feet like a mat, like
Right.
the mat is sacred. So wipe your feet. Maybe they do that on there. But anyways, my last call is hopefully we get no more snow. I'm already done with winter and it's only January 11th, Greg. But it's been quite. I mean, it feels like we've been back forever at school, and I've only been back a week. But so there might be another system coming. So hopefully there's no
Hey.
snow the weekend you come, so it doesn't delay you or anything like that. Because people were trying to leave, try to get back from like winter break stuff, and there was lots of delays and stuff. So hopefully the first weekend will be just a mild 30-degree weather, no snow. But so anyway, all right, that's all we got. Enjoy the weekend. The NFL playoffs feels like could be a coming out party for your Justin Herbert.
Yes,
Josh
sir.
Allen's got to overcome CJ Stroud. I mean, if he upsets your Chargers, Greg, it could be he gets the big bad empire of the Chiefs next. So who knows? It could be a coming out party for him. It does feel like the AFC is more talked about though than the NFC. So it should be interesting to see where things go with that. My Pacers keep rolling, and just keep watching it, and we'll see you guys next week. Another week of Raw on Netflix, another week of CW on NXT. Just so many different channels we have to catch now. So enjoy the night, enjoy the evening, and talk to you guys next week.
Peace. Go Chargers.